Welcome back to my channel. It's been a week or two. Okay, hi everyone. Welcome back to my channel. I have like some funky makeup stuff going on. I tried to do something new and it hasn't worked the way I thought it would, and I just find that when I take eye makeup off my eye it hurts a bit. So I just thought, you know what, I'm just gonna leave it as it is, and it is what it is. So today I thought I'd do something a little different. I've realised that I kind of like talk through the style, but I don't talk much about me. And so I thought I'd do like a little get ready with me hair with a little bit of talk about mental health. And the reason why I wanted to speak about mental health is because last week it was Mental Health Awareness Week and I did 5 tips on my Instagram, and I thought, why don't I just go into a little more detail about my mental health journey, what things have helped me, and we can create a nice little style at the same time. And the look I've decided to go for today is Hollywood Waves. I've never done this before, so it's the first time for me and maybe a first time for you, and we can see how it goes. But I've kind of like tried to learn and understand the concept of it, so here's hoping it's going to work. And I'm also going to be doing a Western clothing style and a Indian clothing style, just using like one outfit but then just like switching up little parts of it just to like go from like kind of like a day to night. We're going from Western to Indian. So before we get started, if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, you can subscribe now, and we're going to start. I'm just going to go through the list of things that you might need. Obviously it completely depends on what you have at home. We need some hairspray, and I'm using the Silhouette Schwarzkopf Professional. I know it's a really big bottle, but I'm trying to get through my hairsprays. I've got a build-up of like 3 bottles, and I'm trying to get through the stuff that I'm not really using when I go to see clients. So basically that's why it's the big bottle of hairspray. And then we have a Tresemme curling wand, and this I believe is the 28mm, and I think it's the only 28mm one that you can get. I will triple check that and I'll put the link in the description below if you do want to get it. It's really affordable and I absolutely love how my curls turn out when I do use it. I don't really use it enough. Anyway, and then we are going to be using, you don't have to have this, hairspray works just as well, but I just thought let's try it. So I have the Bedhead TG Head Rush, which is a shine spray with superfine mist. And then we will need, if you don't have one of these combs that's got like the wide picks, then you can just use a normal comb. And you would also need some hair clips, or if you don't have hair clips, then you can use bobby pins just to pin the curls down. So what we're going to do is I'm going to talk you through how to do the first 2 set of curls, and then you basically do the same thing all around your head, and then we keep in the curls for about half an hour. Then we take them out, and then we zhuzh it up, and then let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. And yeah, okay. So this is the top I shall be wearing for my looks. I just haven't shown you the bottom yet. So yeah, let's start with taking my hair down. My hair has grown so long in this quarantine. It is so out of shape. That I'm just like, okay. I'm gonna start with dry shampoo because I always do. I just like the grit that it gives me in my hair. And you also get to have like a nice little head massage at the same time. Okay. So, now that's out of the way. Make sure your hair is brushed, because you're going to be sectioning off your hair and it's annoying when your hair is not brushed and you have knots everywhere. So I'm really bad. I don't brush my hair every day. I think I brush it like when I go to get a cut like once every 6 months, or I think that's it, to be honest. I don't really cut my hair otherwise. I mean, not cut my hair, don't really brush my hair otherwise. I've just not been in the habit of it. Okay, So I'm going to grab a hair comb with the tip just so we can create different sections in the hair. So the key thing is to make sure that the curl is going in the same direction. So if you decide to curl your hair this way, all the curls should go that way, because then that's how you get the not symmetry, that's how the waves fall in the right place. You can do really small waves or you can do big waves. It's completely up to you. Let's start. So we're going to wrap the hair around the wand. You can use a normal curling tong or you can use a wand. I've seen them both be used. Just want to make sure when it comes out it stays in your hand. Obviously you can also wind it up. So this needs a little bit of winding. And then we are going to clip that in. Be careful with your hands because it is hot. Whee! Okay. On to the next, on to the next. Okay, so we have curled and pinned in 2 curls, and we're just going to do that all the way around, and then we're going to let it set. So I just want to talk about mental health a little bit, and it's become more and more important to me in the last few years, simply because like I've been through things like depression, I've been through anxiety, and not that I ever felt judged for them. I think I kind of just felt like, I didn't judge myself, but it was more like being scared of other people's judgments and not really understanding my mind so well, and like the stigma of like, oh, I've just got problems, and I don't want to be known as the problem child basically. And I think there's a lot of what's the word? I guess like you're basically like scared of what people are going to think of you. And my journey with it kind of started quite early on in my life. I didn't always have depression. I always had really bad like confidence issues at school. I couldn't understand like why like people didn't want to talk to me, or I felt like people didn't want to talk to me. I couldn't understand. I grew up quite poor. I had a lot, I'm not poor, but like I wasn't as wealthy as the other kids in my class. But I basically always worried about money, and that had a massive impact on like my health, as in my mental health. I didn't grow up in a very stable family, so my mum practically raised me since I was 11. I haven't spoken to my biological dad since I was 11. He wasn't a very nice man. Don't really want to go into the details of why, but he just wasn't a very nice person. So then I've had to deal with like the repercussion of like, okay, I don't have a father, and so that really bothered me, and I think it kind of just like all added up, to be honest. And then like your childhood like has a massive impact on you. Like you don't even realise it until you're older, like how much it affects you. Because I used to like just be this, like I was so dependent on so many people, but none of those people were really my family. And I was like, I don't understand this. Like I would get really like offended if friends didn't like care about me in the same way that I cared about them. But it's because like for me, my family was my friends, and so I was just like, wait, hold on, none of you have problems. So yeah, so my childhood had a massive impact on my mental health. And then I went into depression, like over like broken friendships and just feeling let down by a lot of people, and it got really dark. And then I slowly started talking to people about it. I went into therapy. I had therapy, not therapy, like counselling when I was in school, with a school counsellor, and she helped me with my confidence. And then to this day, like, I still think about her. Like, she was such a lovely woman, and so kind, like so kind. I think school counsellors are so underrated, but she was such a lovely woman. And yeah, and then I went to uni, gained a lot of confidence, didn't really think about my childhood, if I'm honest, didn't really, I kind of just became my own person. And then, I don't think Instagram was around at the time, it was a Facebook thing. And yeah, and then I went through some stuff like personally with friends, and that had a massive impact on me. That's where I went into like a really dark depression because I felt really betrayed. And then I went to counselling for like 2 years, and that's a little, basically my story. So it's a little bit long-winded, but anyway, that's my story. That's where, like, I'm just trying to explain like where things stemmed from. And then the thing that kind of pushed me to work on them was my husband, and I think there was also a level of, I actually have been very fortunate in my life to have a lot. Even when my mum didn't have much money, she would still find a way of giving me things. I got to go on school holidays. I got to have some amazing experiences. I had a wonderful set of friends. I never had my husband was like my first boyfriend, so I had like confidence that she's good boys. I was just like, why do no boys like me? But yeah, he was my biggest blessing in my life, and he really helped me. And it was just like, you know what, if you need to go and have the help, like, go and have the help. And so the biggest things I learnt, I would say the first tip or first lesson I would give is we have to get to a point of like taking responsibility for our own mental health. And I think that comes with everything and anything in life. Like, if I want to be successful on YouTube, I have to be the responsible person of making the videos and actually being like successful on YouTube. I cannot depend on other people. I can ask people for help and I can ask them to support me, but I can't, they're not responsible for, like, in terms of me creating the content. Like, that's up to me to do. Like, when it comes to like getting a job, you're responsible for applying for those jobs. Like, we have to take responsibility for our own mental health, because everyone has their stuff going on, and everyone has, whether we see them or not, 'cause sometimes we don't see a lot of people's problems and not everyone wants to talk about them. We don't see what everyone's struggles are, so we have to find a way of taking responsibility. And I guess the second lesson for me would be, it goes along with responsibility, but I guess all of these will link to responsibility, so I don't keep on repeating about responsibility, but being able to speak to someone in confidence. I think that was a massive thing for me. And speaking to someone, the reason why I recommend counselling, one, because it worked for me, and two, because you can go to a place where this person doesn't know anything about you to judge you. They don't know the people you're talking about, so they don't really care about what you have to say about people, in terms of like, you don't have to worry like, oh my god, if I tell this person this thing, then they're gonna go and tell someone else, and then they're going to go and tell someone else, and the whole world is going to find out what my problems are. They don't do that, and plus it's against their ethics to do that, so that would never happen. And they come from a perspective that's more outside, so you can just you can trust them more. And yeah, like my counsellor was really my guardian angel. She really helped me see, like, so one of the exercises that she did is a exercise where she tells you to review your childhood and your present life, and so for example, emotional stability, wealth, love, all those sort of things. Did you have those as a kid, and what do you have them now? And I had a lot of things I didn't have as a kid that I have them now, but because I didn't have them as a kid and I didn't learn how to accept them, it was hard for me to accept them now. So even though I had everything I wanted to ever have, basically I couldn't appreciate them in the same way because I didn't know how to appreciate them in the same way. So there's that. And then there were things like, even just things like learning to be grateful. Like we're given so many things in life, and they don't have to be material things. Like I think sometimes, it can be really easy in the world that we're living in, the age of social media, that we just see what things people have, but we don't necessarily, those things can never give you permanent happiness. So the only thing that can give you happiness is an emotional well-being. And I think even then, like, we live in a world where there's like happiness and sadness, where there's duality, so we can never expect to perfectly always be happy. But I think we can get to a place where when those problems do come, that we can deal with them in a way that is healthy and not destructive. So there's that. And then I think another really powerful thing for me was starting to exercise. And I remember I used to like be so lazy about going to the gym, because I emotionally ate for like 3 years and I put on, I think, a stone of weight, and I got really upset because I'd never been, I wouldn't say I'm fat, but I'd never been the size that I was, and that was like a bit of a shock for me. And so I was just like, you know what, let's just start. My husband and me joined the gym, and I found that lifting weights was extremely powerful, like just on like a mental level, like for your mind to feel that even if it's like 10 kilos, bloody hell, I can lift 10 kilos. Your mind just like automatically is just so proud of you. It's like, yeah, I'm lifting weights. Then automatically it just makes you feel good. And then I found it a really nice way of just letting out any frustration I had. Like I used to love going kickboxing, and I would just imagine the person who hurt me. I would just be like, wah, wah, wah. So working out was really powerful. During this quarantine period, I found how powerful nature is. It was actually one of the things that my counsellor would often tell me, like, you should go for a walk. And I never really understood the power of it until quarantine. And how powerful nature is, and it just makes you realise like what the simple things in life are actually really, really, really powerful. And letting go of like toxic relationships was another thing I had to learn. And not necessarily toxic in one toxic in the sense of there are some people who just aren't very good for you, but another toxic in the sense of another sense toxic in the sense of the people who kind of like, especially I guess I'm talking more about social media, but those who invoke like envy in your life. Like when you're going through a really hard time and you feel like you don't have much, the people that you see that have more than you, it doesn't really help you progress. So for example, on Instagram, I've unfollowed people who I feel like don't really serve me in a mentally healthy way, and if I don't feel like I can unfollow them because I don't have a social situation, then I've at least muted them. And then I've muted some people who like I really love and care about, and sometimes it's been for like a month, and then I get over it, I forget about them, and then I go back to their profile and I'm completely fine. Like sometimes you just need to step away to deal with something, and it's okay to do that. Your friends should be understanding, and to be honest, no one needs to know if you're unfollowing them, if you're muting them. Like that's up to you. They don't know. Like why do they need to know? So that, and what else would I say? Okay, I think this one's a bit important. The one thing I've really had to learn is just to go easy on myself. Like, give yourself a pat on the back, you know, because there is so much stuff in this world that's going on, like inside our lives and outside our lives. And I don't think we give ourselves enough credit for the things that we have achieved. Like, if you've got through school, you've bloody got through your education. If you've learnt how to drive a car, you've bloody learnt how to drive a car. Like I was thinking the other day, like, it's actually a really big deal to drive a vehicle, because like you are not only taking responsibility for yourself, you're taking responsibility for the other cars on the road, you're taking responsibility for the people who sit in your car. And that is no small thing, mate. Like, that's like a big deal. And then I don't think like even things like a simple thing like learning how to cook, I don't know, a cake or a curry or rice, or it can be like a super simple thing. Like, we don't give ourselves credit for those things. Like, if you're learning how to cook even something like rice, you're learning how to feed yourself, and you can feed people, and food makes people happy. Like, these are small things, but they're so powerful. And I think it's so easy to forget that when it feels like, oh, I don't have a million followers on Instagram and I don't have this brand wanting to work with me. Like, yes, those are wonderful and amazing things, but like, there are also other wonderful and amazing things that don't include name and fame. And yeah, I'm not like 100% through my mental health like things. I guess like I still have anxiety. I have like social anxiety because I always feel like, okay, am I good enough for people? When it comes to social situations, like I'm like a nervous wreck. And because I guess it's easier to talk to a camera because it's like I have no one to respond to me straight away. But other than that, I'm still working on those things. Like I remember at the beginning of the quarantine period, I could feel the anxiety in my throat because I was just like, oh, like obviously like uncertainties and stuff, and then I went to clenching my jaw, and I've had to learn how to like relax my jaw, unclench it, because I started getting migraines and headaches and all sorts of stuff. And yeah, I'm going to be speaking more about this sort of thing on my Instagram stories, so I'm going to link my page below if you do want to follow along and hear more. I've got my tips saved there, and just general chit chat around mental health like subjects, so if you find it interesting you can follow me there. And yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to send me a DM or send me a message or leave a comment below if you're comfortable with that. And I'm more than happy to share my experiences. And yeah, I'm just going to finish curling the rest of my hair, and then we will come back after it's set and see how it turns out. Okay, so my whole head is done. There are a few bits that are but I'm not, I think that's alright. So I'm just going to do a quick douse of hairspray, just really softly because I don't want it to be crunchy. And then I'm going to leave it for about 15-20 minutes, and then we will come back. Alright guys, it's been about 20 minutes, so I'm going to just start taking all the clips out. My hair is so big. Okay, so I've gone around my head and taken out all the pins. So you should have like a lump of hair like this. And then I'm going to use this comb, and I'm going to comb through. So basically the reason why obviously you set your hair is so that your hair cools down and it sets into place. So when you do brush out your curls, they don't necessarily like completely go straight, they'll just stay in a wave or a curl depending on how much you brush it out. So I'm going to quickly use this bed head just to slightly spritz my hair. I'm going to comb through those curls. This is where the same direction technique really comes into play. So I don't know if you see. waves. I'm going to come a little bit closer to you so you can see. So I want to make sure that we have this little dip here because I like having the dip. So you can put, what you can do, your hair might naturally sit like this, like mine is right now, or you can go in with some hairspray and back comb here. But I just want to go up close and show you. It might not turn out perfect, but it turns out pretty good, if you know what I mean. So I'm going to show you a bit of a close-up of how the curls have turned out so you can see the difference between the curl and the Hollywood curl. So as you can see here, there's like a nice wave together. And on this side, you can see it from here to there and at the bottom. And there we have like a nice little Hollywood wave. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to put a bit more shine spray on just so it helps. So basically the shine spray helps with the frizz and just like smoothing out the whole look. And it can be a little bit of a hairspray. And it's because it's misty. It's nice. It smells really good too. Okay, so another thing you can do to get your waves to sit in place is basically where the waves sit, you can put some clips in, just like I have on this side. So I've put one here, and I'm going to put, there's a dip in the wave here. So I'm going to put another clip there, and it just helps us set the waves in place again. And then all you gotta do is put a little mist, some hairspray, and let that sit for a little bit, and then your waves will be done. And there we have it, Hollywood waves. So all you gotta do, let's have a little review. Let's have a little review. So we start off by making sure we have no knots, and then we curl, pin and let the hair set for about 20 minutes to half an hour depending on how much time you have. You can set it for longer if you like. You can do your makeup in between, and then you take the pins out, put a little hairspray or shine spray on, and comb and comb and comb until you have your desired look. And then if you want to set the waves in a little bit more, you can grab your pins and then just pin them in the areas that you like, and voila! Here we go. If you have any frizzy bits, then what you can do is you can spray some hairspray or some hairspray or shine spray or some wax spray so directly onto the comb and just go over the bits that you feel like you need a little bit more work, and that is it. We are now going to go have a look at my Western and Indian styles for this hair look, and then we will be back. There we have it, 2 looks. And sometimes it's just as simple as putting a dupatta on and just changing up the earrings. I've basically tried to make sure it's like one outfit with one change, because sometimes you can wear something to work and say you have to go to an Indian event after, just whack in a dupatta and some earrings into your bag and voila, you don't even have to carry that much and be that stressed because you're already ready in like half a second. So you can see, you can get some lovely waves, and that's it. If you like this video, give it a little like, leave a comment below if there's anything else that you'd like to see, and make sure you subscribe for when I release new videos. I'm going to link to some of my other videos just in case you have not seen them yet. I did a similar video a couple of weeks ago, so I'm going to link that. And I also have a bunch of other simple styles that you can all learn, and I'll put them in the description below, along with all the products and anything that I've used in the video today. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you next time.